ancient history of India is missing a vital chapter. We all know that the first urbanization of India in our history books accordingly happened in the Indus Valley. We have all seen the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and the rich history associated with it. But what if parallelly thousands of years ago there was a city in the southern part of India along the Vaigai river in the state of Tamil Nadu which holds a chapter waiting to be written. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Everything with Dr. James. Today we are going to be dealing with the Keeladi Excavation site and the rich history associated with it. The findings of Keeladi was not a sudden revelation. This story goes back 12 years to 2013 and 14 when the Archaeological Society of India wanted to find out potential excavation sites to know about the Sangam era, which is dated back to 200 to 300 BC. This Sangam era was a golden time of Tamil literature and agriculture. A team led by Amarnath Ramakrishna started identifying these excavation sites and they found out 293 potential sites. Of all the sites, one site stood out. This was a 110-acre area of coconut groves situated in the silent village of Keeladi, which is just a stone's throw away from the temple city of Madurai. They started excavating in this region and they got some samples and they sent it for radiocarbon dating, and the samples age came back that these samples are at the time of 200 to 300 BC, which is equal to that of Sangam era, and they were studying about it. In 2015, the Tamil Nadu Archaeological Society took over this excavation and they dug a little deeper. They found out some samples. They took 6 samples from there, which was identified at a depth of 11 feet, and they found out that these samples were from different times. They got confused, so they sent it for accelerated mass spectrometer findings to Miami, Florida. The wait was agonizingly slow, and when the findings came back, they were astonished. One of the samples dated back to around 580 BC, which is centuries before the Sangam era. One of the samples dated back to 800 BC, which is even before that, that is 600 years before Sangam era. This discovery was nothing short of revolutionary. This means that a sprawling urbanization area was present in the south of India during the same time along the Gangetic Plains urbanization was happening. Years of notion was that urbanization first happened in the north of India and slowly trickled to the south of India. But with this finding, everything changes. That there were 2 parallel urbanization areas, and this area was flourishing with literature, agriculture and industries the same way the Indus civilization was flourishing, and hence it got a name, the Vaigai Valley civilization. Now coming to the findings in Keeladi. These findings have astonished archaeologists. They have excavated only a small portion of the 110-acre area, but they have got a lot of interesting findings. The first interesting finding is that they found out that people lived in well-fired brick wall houses and not mud huts, and these houses were connected by roads. They had separate areas for communal gathering and the workplace was separated from the residential area. Perhaps the most astonishing finding came in mid-2024 when archaeologists unearthed a terracotta water pipeline system. This was dated back to around 2600 years back. This was no ordinary water pipeline system. It had a series of cylinders snugly fit to each other heading towards a water storage facility. They have excavated only a small portion of this water pipeline and there is a large area waiting to be excavated. This shows us that people of Keeladi were using this water through these pipelines for drinking and domestic use, and shows that they had a good knowledge of sanitation. Now comes the fact that in history we have seen that any society which has a good water pipeline system means that they are well developed and there was a densely populated region living in that area. Now coming to the industries in Keeladi. They have excavated around 20,000 artifacts from Keeladi, which gives us a good knowledge of the industries in that region. There is evidence for a pottery industry present in Keeladi. This was not a pottery industry of rural scale, but an industrial scale pottery industry where they were making huge pottery for house as well as industrial purposes. They have also excavated a terracotta cotton wool which is used to make threads from cotton. There is literature to corroborate that textile industry has been very famous for Madurai for thousands of years, which shows that Keeladi also had a textile industry. The third evidence they encountered was they had skilled artisans present in Keeladi who made good crafted ornaments. The fourth most interesting evidence was for iron smelting industry present in Keeladi, which shows that our knowledge of steel industries in India have to go back around centuries behind, because this totally changes the perception of iron smelting in India. This incredible industrial output was not just for local consumption. The discovery of agate and carnelian beads and presence of stones which are not native to this region shows us that they were actively importing raw materials from other areas of the subcontinent. They have also found out the punched out silver coins which are similar to the coins present in the Gangetic plain, which shows us that they had an active export and import communication with the Mahajan Pandas of the Gangetic plain. This discovery shows that the people of Keeladi were not confined only to their region, but they were actively engaging in export and import with other places of the subcontinent. In fact, the most stunning discovery of this Keeladi excavation was not the industries or the houses which they discovered. The most important was these tiny scripts which were written in these pottery. These scripts were the Tamil Brahmese scripts. These scripts were dated previously to 3rd or 4th century BC during time of Ashoka, but these samples are from the 6th BC, which dated back this Tamil Brahmese script to 3 centuries behind to 6th century BC, showing that people in Keeladi were not only masters in industry and civil engineering, but they were very literate people. The other findings, they found out that there were some other scripts which were present which had an uncanny resemblance to the Indus Valley civilization, which was 1000 years before that. Though there is no established evidence before this, they just say that this script, which is not Tamil Brahmi script, has some uncanny resemblance to that of that Indus Valley script. And these Tamil Brahmi script literature, which we had previously before the Keeladi exploration, had evidence of a city which was present where people were living prosperous with industries flourishing. Mostly that city should have been Keeladi. Another one interesting fact regarding this Tamil Brahmi script in the Keeladi excavation site is they did not find these Tamil Brahmi scripts writing big poetry or about some god. What they found out was the Keeladi script had names of people written on the pottery, like Athan, Kuruvan, saying that this pottery belongs to this person, this pottery belongs to that person. Meaning that literature was not confined to the royal elites only, but even the common man present in the Keeladi civilization was literate. Another interesting fact comes from their culture, which is situated 1 kilometer from this Keeladi excavation site in a place called Kondagai. There is an excavation site where they found out large burial ground where there were around 150 urns seen, people buried with ornaments with them. This shows that people of Keeladi were having a separate place for burial and a separate living quarters, showing the level of sophistication they were living in. Finding of this magnitude, which alters the course of our history, will have its share of controversies. The main problem is, for a century we have been taught that the second urbanization in India happened in the Ganges plain. But suddenly there is an excavation site which says that parallelly another urbanization was happening along the Vaigai area. So many people did not want this excavation to go ahead. The first cracks in this investigation appeared in 2017 when suddenly Amarnath Ramakrishna, who was the head and who started this Keeladi expedition, was suddenly transferred. Everybody were asking why he was transferred. So in 2013-14 the Indian Archaeological Society was doing. In 2015 the Tamil Nadu Archaeological Society took over. But again during the third phase the Indian Archaeological Society took over, but this time they said there was no significant findings which were present here, and that what we found before was just a fluke and it was not giving us any more information than we already know. This started a public outcry. Everybody started protesting. How can you suddenly change the narrative? First you gave us very promising findings, now you are saying there is nothing found. They started a case in the High Court and the High Court told to reopen this excavation, and this is the time they found out these artifacts which were dating back to the 6th century. There is a theory which says that they want to bury this finding and some people don't want this Keeladi story to come out. But we don't have concrete evidence for that. This is just which has been going on, and I'm just telling what has happened. Findings in Keeladi have been nothing short of astonishing and amusement. It has had its fair share of controversies also, but it is going to give us more evidence as more excavation happens, and we will come to know more about this parallel urban civilization which was living during the time of India's second urbanization. Do like, share and subscribe me for more interesting videos like this.